That is a terrible business model. If Booking.com says, okay, we don't like you anymore, you have a big problem. You should have a mixture of direct booking channels, which is your website. Yeah, it's your booking engine on the website. Then you got your emails. You need to be able to show the AI and also the search engines that you are actually actively promoting direct bookings. If your website doesn't show any keywords for direct or for bookings or best price guarantee, well, that what is the point? Then AI thinks that we can send them as well to booking.com.
Welcome back to the Schulering Hub Talking Hospitality podcast. I'm your host, Mauricio, and today we are hoping to learn if AI can help hotels to earn more direct bookings. And for this, I invited Sabine Holtkamp to speak to us. Sabine, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Mauricio.
It's a pleasure to have you, Sabine. So for our audience, if they don't know you, how did you join hospitality?
Well, that is a long story, but I will try to keep it very short. So I was studying business economics with a focus on international marketing in the Netherlands. And after I finished that study, I decided to become, for 1 year, I promised my parents for only 1 year to have a gap year and do something else before I go and join the corporate world. And because I am a fanatic skier and also windsurfer and sailor, I started the first winter season as a ski instructor. And while I was there, somebody asked me, hey, I heard you can do windsurfing and sailing. And they invited me to join the Robinson Club. I don't know if you heard ever of Robinson Club.
Not me.
Not you. Well, it's a kind of a high-level holiday resort. So 4-star S. It is more for the German markets, and they really are keen on social activities, lots of sports, and yeah. So I joined there, the water sports base, and I was the manager. So not only teaching windsurfing and skiing in the winter, but also sailing in the summer. And what we learned, I was very lucky though, because I felt like this was falling with your nose in the butter, one says in the Netherlands, because the training I got there in hospitality, that was absolutely amazing. It started with the welcome drink up till saying goodbye to a guest, which you had 7 days or 14 days, and which literally became a friend. So it was really high level, but also really needed to do some entertainment, like cooking, for example. There was one day a week, we had to do some dancing and yeah, so on. So I really got a good education in hospitality and on a high level, how such big companies do that. Yes.
That's incredible. And how old were you when you joined this?
It was
gap year?
22.
22, looking for an adventure, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love how hospitality can bring some adventure to people. That's what I've been saying, repeatedly saying that young people are looking for adventure and hospitality can provide so much. And you are a living example of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what I did. I was working there instead of only 1 year. I stayed in Austria. My parents were not happy at all. The thing was that because of the Robinson Club is like a seasonal club, so we always had like 2 months in between. And because at that time the internet was just coming up, and because our water sport base was also having on the other side of the lake our own windsurfing and sailing school, so I decided to create a website for our windsurfing school, basically, and sailing school. And that's actually how I started, next to hospitality, also learned a lot about hospitality systems and how to create websites and how the bookings were working. So it was actually 2 things which I learned quite fast. Yes.
And that's so cool that you join as someone looking for an adventure in a year gap. Then you saw an opportunity to maybe help them to sell their services more and learn a little bit about web design and helping them to create websites. And where did it take you?
Well, where did it take me? After the first website which I designed, because you have to understand this Robinson Club was somewhere in the south, and around it were lots of other hotels. And they were still obviously using travel operators like TUI and so on. And because I created the first website, everybody came knocking on my door. So I was like, I don't know how many websites I created in the first year. It must be 50 or 60. And remember, Maurizio, that was all done by hand. So, I mean, the coding was HTML. There was no CSS. It was really cool. So where did it take me? Well, I started my own web agency, which is actually still running. And where it also took me is that what at that time, we're talking about 2000, the year around 2000, the destinations management organization were hardly doing anything on the internet. So I managed to grab a few great domains where I actually was the private representative of these small destination management destinations. So I gathered like 20 or 30 hotels which already had a website, made it into a portal, and the booking form was basically an email form where you said arrival date, departure date, and then depending on what the guest selected, this email went then through those 20 or 30 hotels, and they would answer with their availability. Yeah, so that's where it was actually what was happening there. Yeah.
Wow, cool. So basically you are gathering from one email form, you are already gathering prices for multiple properties.
Yes.
Almost a meta search.
Yeah, it was a meta search, but there was no PMS system or no live pricing behind it. That was not then happening.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And after that, you took over a property yourself, right? You became a manager of a property. How did that go?
Yes, well, one opportunity comes after another, basically. And so my friends, their parents, they had a motel in the Austrian Alps. And it was really going very bad. Again, we are talking about the year 2000. It was just a switch where the internet came up. And what happened was that they had TUI, for example, as a tour operator, but also Thomas Cook, which is now bankrupt. We know that. I think 2 years ago or something like that. And they were still depending on that. They had like 80% of the bookings going through these tour operators. And because they didn't perform, the rooms were empty. So again, I built a website for this hotel. We took over the hotel. We took over also the finances and everything. And I must say, within 1 year, we managed to switch from 80% no bookings via the tour operator to 80% direct bookings. And everything was done at that time either done per email or per phone.
And I can see that you gather so much experience from managing a hotel, working with the customer first. Then you learn how to manage a hotel, and you really dived into the systems and how the sales work and trying to get that directed. But that led you to what you started now, that your startup, Better Book Direct. So if you could pitch your startup in 60 seconds, would you be able to do that for me?
Oh, definitely. It's very simple. It's called Book Better Direct, and our line is search global but book local. And what we do is we help hotels to get more direct bookings in a completely different way as if they are used to. And at the same time, we help travelers find the best hotel deal in an instant.
Cool. And how do you do that?
Yeah, so we got basically 3 pillars. So the first one is our own platform, where we have an extra website for the hotel. Because as you know, search engine optimization is very, very important. And what happens is that hotels only got their only one website, which is doing the hard work for them. And if you do a Google search, Well, for the hotel directly, you see the hotel website and then you see 12 online travel agents advertising for this hotel. So what we do at Book Better Direct, we support with the extra websites the hotel in the search engines, but, and this is very important, and I think we're going to talk about it later, also in the artificial intelligence, the AI search engines. So that's one pillar which we got. And the second thing which we have is because many people, yes, they want to book direct, but they don't quite trust the hotels, which I don't understand. So what we also give hoteliers is a kind of a trust mark so that which they can place on their website, and so that the traveler, when they sees this trust mark and he knows, okay, best price guaranteed. That's perfect. I have nothing to worry about. Even if I find a hotel somewhere cheaper, the hotel will give me the best price guarantee. That's the second thing. And the third thing, and that's actually a little bit what always makes me very excited, that is revolutionary browser extension. And just for 14 days ago, we also launched our app. And what we do is that while the guest is searching, while the traveler is searching on online travel agents like Booking.com or Expedia, we show a pop-up. So basically an overlay where we show the direct booking advantages of the hotel, their phone number, and their official websites. So with one click, the traveler connects to the hotel.
Interesting. And you spoke about AI here, and I can see that you are from operations, you work with the customer, you understand the tech side. So you will be very good guest speaker to speak about direct bookings, OTAs, and how AI can help to earn more direct bookings. But I will start with a very direct question about OTAs. In previous guests that we have here in the podcast, when talking about OTAs, when talking about direct sales, they raise two very important things. One is that there are customers for each type of sales. There are customers that prefer to book direct, but there are customers that prefer to book through OTAs. It's just because their loyalty lays on the OTAs. And there are customers that they don't care. Right? They just are looking for the best price that they can find, right? And another one is some of our guests spoke about that the revenue that is shared with the OTAs actually is cheaper than the marketing investment that they should put when they are going to try to get their booking direct. And I had heard the other way around as well, that no, it's not true. But the prices may look similar, but at least if you are getting more direct bookings, you start to earn and own your customers rather than renting them out from the OTAs. So I will ask you, my question is, why using OTAs as the main sales channel can be detrimental for independent hotels?
Sorry to interrupt. If you're enjoying the show and if you're learning something new today, please consider following the show, subscribe to our channel, or leave us a review. It helps us to help more people through the podcast, and it would mean the world to us. Thank you for listening, and we're back on the chat.
Well, as I told you, actually, in my previous story of the one hotel which we took over, they had all their eggs in one basket, which was like 80%. But they were depending on tour operators. We don't have anything against online travel agents. We think they are fantastic because you can use them as a billboard effect, so that you can be found through between all the other hotels. But the problem is, the moment you are literally having 80% Booking.com bookings, that is a terrible business model. I mean, if Booking.com says, okay, we don't like you anymore, well, you have a big problem. So detrimental in this sense that online travel agents are very useful, but I would say not more than 50% of direct bookings versus online travel agent bookings. If you can, and that's, again, you've got city hotels, you've got destination hotels where I'm sitting, in the moment in Austria, where they have approximately 60-70% of direct bookings. And I think in the cities, you should at least go for like 50%, something like that. And of the direct bookings channels, so you should have a mixture of direct booking channels, which is not all, which is your website, yeah. It's your booking engine on the website. Then you got your emails, obviously, phone, and then maybe the contact form, and especially in cities, again, walking clients of something like that. Yeah.
Cool. Don't spread your eggs in different baskets. Very good. I like that. And what's your opinion about these hoteliers that say that the cost of investing in marketing to get more direct bookings is actually more expensive than just relying on their OTAs? What would you say to them?
Well, it depends. I would say if you ask me for a year ago, I would say they were absolutely wrong. So because you can still do a lot with Google Ads, for example. You know it yourself every time when a traveler start. Well, let me start with the beginning. The problem is that travelers use Booking.com as search engine. Let's call it Booking.com because they just corner the market. They got like 70% of the people land on Booking.com. Okay. Now, after that, if they want to go for a direct booking and they type in the hotel or the keyword and the destination and maybe even add direct and booking behind it, then immediately a Booking.com advertisement will pop up. If you want as a hotel to be also there, you need to bid on the same keywords. And that was, let's say, for a year ago to 2 years ago, that was still very effective. And I heard from hotels which did that, they could bring it down to 5% with the right agency, with the right ad agency and with 5%, I mean, let's say you pay a commission to Booking.com 15 to 20, maybe 30%. And these hoteliers were able to bring it down to 5%. For a direct booking. Yeah. So the conversion would be cost that. Now, what's happening at the moment, especially with Google AI search coming out, I don't know if you noticed that when you now do a search on Google, that sometimes the AI field pops up. Well, that is going to be a whole different ballgame because there is no Google Ads which you can place anymore. So it might be becoming expensive unless you start joining and new technologies like AI optimization or all these kinds of things.
Very, very, very interesting. So the challenges are getting bigger. See, if we would think how you would suggest hotels incentive direct bookings, how AI can actually help. You just spoke about optimizing for AI search. What does it actually mean?
Well, optimizing for AI search is actually also optimizing for normal search, so for Google search, which means that you need to be able to show the AI and also the search engines that you are actually actively promoting direct bookings. So, and we're coming now to the tips, actually. One of the tips would be that if your website doesn't show any keywords for direct or for bookings or best price guarantee, well, what is the point? Then AI thinks, okay, we can send them as well to Booking.com. So that would be what you can do with AI. And how else AI can help? Well, that is basically thinking about certain incentives which you could give the traveler. That is something which many hotels oversee. They think when I compete on the price, I got the same price or a better price booking directly. Yes, that might be okay. If it's I don't know, 100 or 150 euro difference, then the traveler would be interested in that. But what you also can do is give them extra incentives like free drinks or a free drink voucher or maybe a free massage or a room upgrade or early room upgrade or early check-in, late checkout, all that kind of stuff.
And can AI actually on the search find that information and put that information ahead of a trusted website such as Booking.com?
Yeah, well, that is actually what we are developing at the moment. And yes, we do manage that for, I would say, 99% of our members. We not only manage to put the extra website of Book Better Direct into the search engines, especially when it comes down to keywords, hotel or keyword destination and keyword direct or bookings or online booking. So we most of the time we are par with booking or maybe even above that. That's on the search engines. And the really cool thing is, I think we cracked the code now. The same is happening on ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, all these, and even DeepSeek, which just came out, the Chinese artificial intelligence LLM, actually it's called large language model. And what we see there is that our extra website next to the hotel website is being seen as an authority already for direct booking incentives promotion.
That's super interesting. What is the Digital Market Act, and how can the hotels leverage the policy to influence more direct bookings?
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you asked this question because this is the major thing which everybody oversees. Okay, what is the Digital Market Act? It's a quick study in that. It's a regulation presented by the European Union, and that was actually to ensure fair competition and also greater consumer choice, especially in the digital economy. So what the Digital Markets Act does, it especially targets gatekeepers. And with gatekeepers, we mean the very large digital platforms like Google, for example. So Alphabet in general. Yeah, Google we got. Then also Apple is a gatekeeper, Amazon is a gatekeeper, Meta is a gatekeeper with Facebook and Instagram. And on the 14th of November, 2025, so not just 6 months ago, Booking.com also became a gatekeeper. Now, what does that mean for Europe? So for the European Union, before, and I don't know if you were aware of that, or the hoteliers probably yes, there was a rate parity clause in the Booking.com contract. So what does that mean? That means if you would put a price on Booking.com, let's say $100 or €100, then you were not allowed to, as a hotel, to go under that price. So you would not be able to offer a cheaper price, basically. And that was still, when I got a hotel, that was still like that. And sometimes Booking.com even would call us or send us an email and say, hey, we've seen that you have a cheaper price. You have the rate parity clause. You cannot do that. And we were, sorry, we can't do that. But then already certain governments in certain countries in Europe, like Austria, for example, in 2015, but also France in 2015, also Macron law, it was called. He was finance minister at that time. Italy, Belgium, and that was about it. Germany came later. They forbid this rate parity clause. That's fine. So the Austrian could give a cheaper price. Now, with the 14th of November, it is forbidden through whole Europe. So that means that all hotels in Czechia, in Spain, in Portugal, even in the Netherlands, where Booking.com is coming from, they are allowed to give a cheaper price. Now, many hotels did that already, but now it is official. That is the opportunity for hotels with the Digital Market Act.
That's good. Because before, like Booking.com would have that parity and it still offer discounts to the genius customers and beating the hotel price by offering incentives for their own customers, right?
Yes, and what happens now, and especially you see it in more and more, what hotels do now is they just have their own price on the website, like €100, and they just put on 30%. Which is €130. What the problem here is, Mauricio, is that the traveler is not aware of this because they're still in the mindset that there is the rate parity. And saying that, which is also very interesting, this is only in Europe. If you look at the United States, North America, South America, and Asia, there is still the rate parity clause. So what is many travelers still think that Booking.com has the same price anyway. which is not true for Europe.
Educating customers. But that's the hard part, right? Making people change the behavior and understanding that price parity doesn't exist with the customer is probably the hardest thing to do, right?
Yes, but this is also something which hoteliers need to do. Huh? It's educating of the guests, not only from us, from our startup, but also the hotel. And just one thing, one of our members, actually several of our members, when you come to the reception desk, it's always difficult to say to somebody, yeah, you booked with Booking.com, you paid the wrong price. They have like this little tiny shield standing there, and which says, well, we guarantee you the best price while you book directly with us. So it's like inviting the traveler already, or telling them or educating them that the next time they should book directly.
Yes, that's a good suggestion. We should put in the training process of our front desk to educate people about pricing, about purchases, even if it's not for our hotel. But if everyone does, your own hotel will also win. So do for the others and you win by default.
Exactly.
And one thing, Sabine, if a hotelier now is listening to our chat and is getting inspired to improve their direct bookings, I don't know, they may be 90% depending on the OTAs. They didn't know what's going on and they want to act tomorrow. They want to start something tomorrow. What would be maybe 3 practical steps that they can do on their own, and how long until they start seeing results as well? Because this is something that I see. People want immediate results and they give up on the strategy before they see the results coming on. So 3 steps and how long that should take.
There are only 3 steps. I can only say 3 steps because like I got a list of 10 steps, but okay. I skip with 3. Don't worry.
Let's try 5. Let's try 5.
Okay, let's try 5. Okay. So the first thing I already told you that what they could do right now when they finish after this podcast, they should open their website in a browser. They should hit Control F or it's Command key F on Apple, and then a little search box appears, and they should start typing direct. If that is on the website, that's great. Now they should then add booking. If that is on the website, that's even much better. And then the last thing which they should, is there a best price guarantee? Does that pop up? And if you have all these 3, you're already on the way, because this is how AI and this is how Google search look at your website. They want to see these key search terms on there. So that will be my first thing. And the result will be, especially if they would reapply the website to the Google search index, which you can do, then I would say within 14 days, they will see better results already. That will be the first thing. The second thing also has to do with search engine and with artificial intelligence optimization, AIO, how we call it, is to create an extra website, not even an extra website, an extra web page within their official website where it says, why should I book directly with the hotel? So list all the things what is important there. That will be the second thing. The third thing is, which most of the hotels I look at so many websites and I go like, oh my God, why are they doing this? Is that when the guest, so when the traveler sees the website, you should immediately see the online booking button above the fold, it's called. So that's the first thing what the traveler sees. And also maybe, if possible, the direct booking advantage, like 10% off where you book directly or whatever, a best price guarantee, something like that. So that would be like searching. And yeah, then the fourth thing, and actually I listened to another podcast about this. How do you get more direct bookings? This is a bit of, as you already mentioned, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Huh? You should start gathering email addresses from the people which book directly with you. And there is one cool tip, and you can do that over Wi-Fi. So usually you get the password for the Wi-Fi on the hotel, And what you do here is that to get the password, you have to give your email address. Now, what happens there is that you not only get the email address from the booker, which you already have, but usually they book a party for, 6 people, 4 people, maybe 10 people. Now, everybody wants to log into the Wi-Fi. Now, let them give your email address. Obviously, there needs to be they have to allow it that you can write to them. But then in one go, you got not the one person email from the booking, but you got maybe 10 or 20 or all the 100 people in your hotel. So that's a good thing. And yeah, the other one, which is always overseen as well, is a trust mark. You need to put that on. You need to give the guests. Why is Booking.com so successful? Because they trust them. And you need to create that trust as well.
That's amazing tips. I love the one that creating a page to explain about the direct bookings. And I will ask a little bit more into this one. Is that AI is looking for that information and that page to answer a question to customers?
Yes. And especially what is very important, and it needs to be like a kind of a structured data. So schema.org, it needs to be put like that, so that it's easy to read for the AI.
And how would you structure this data on one page to be readable?
Well, that's a bit of a technical thing. That's what we are specialized in. But just if you were the hotel, whatever website developer, just open a page and just say, okay, is it better to book directly? And then you say, okay, we have the best price guarantee. You get an extra free drink. That is already basically structured, more or less.
All right. Okay. Understood. Thank you very much. I get very curious with how we can actually speak to AI, because when we had a whole podcast here about the structured data with hotels, where really was about big data, right? And how hotels can leverage the big data and how you structure that. So I was very curious to understand on your side how one hotel in one page can structure, but I understood now it's more about the information that's structured.
Exactly. It's simpler than you think. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And if we're going to think about the future now, and the future is really complicated to talk about today, people are getting really frustrated when we speak about the future. I started this conversation 2 years ago and we were talking about 10 years in the future. Last year, we started talking about 5 years in the future. And the other day I asked, what do you think that's going to happen in 3 years? And people start to get freak out already. But I change the question. So it's not about what you think that's going to happen, but what excites you more about the future of hotel direct bookings?
Well, where you really feel the opportunity. What is happening is, especially with AI, that there was never, ever a point in time with such an amazing opportunity to get more direct bookings. We're literally, because of the AI, we got a technology reset. So before, 2 years ago, we could not compete with Booking.com. It was, they had too much technology, etc., etc. As startup, we would not stand a chance. But now we're basically both on the same level. We are both on the starting line, and we can and we will change the future. So in my opinion, everybody will book directly in the future. That is how optimistic I am, how that is going to work. Yeah. At Booking.com, they got they're spending 8 billion a year on advertisements. They will try to hold against it. But what you will see is that there is a shift going from commission-based to flat rate fees. I mean, really, we paid 20% to the tour operators, and that was 25 years ago. And now we're still paying that. I mean, software should become cheaper instead of more expensive. So where's the future? I see the future going to direct bookings, but the hotel cannot do it alone. We need to come together and fight basically for our place in this new space.
I have a question to you about that, because a lot of people are very worried about the power that these OTAs have, because they have the cash to burn in research, to develop new technologies, and smart people in their teams that really can follow what's going on and creating better strategies to be ahead of hotels, right? And a lot of people are very concerned that the more authority they have, soon it's being predicted that sponsor answers will start to show when you chat with AIs, right? If you add with your chatbot or the GPT or Gemini or whatever, that very soon sponsored answers will start to appear. That's being predicted that for the second half of this year already. Probably it's just how the regulation will comply to it. What is your take on these powerhouses full of cash getting research to get ahead and to keep surviving in an equal game against hoteliers playing in their individual silos, trying to compete against these big players? Do you think that what's the best strategy for the hotels to be able to compete with them?
Well, the best strategy, the only strategy, best strategy is to deliver a better value when people book directly. That is the strategy. They are now allowed to do that with the Digital Market Act. And I mean, a traveler is no fool. I mean, you can out advertise whatever you want, but when I go to a hotel and I see it's 300 euros cheaper when I book directly, I will book direct. So therefore, just a quick reminder, Booking.com started some 10 years ago with 3 billion advertisements budget, and now they're aiming for 9 billion. I mean, you can see they are getting worried. This is the problem. And saying that an AI should deliver a honest answer. So if I ask, is it better to book Hotel XYZ direct? He needs to give the proper answer. He cannot say, oh no, you should do it via booking.com, because that is not fair. And again, also there, it comes to the flat rate fee, because like ChatGPT, if you use the professional version, you pay 20 euros a month. But that basically, for me, I hope, will be advertisement free. So therefore, the answers stay honest.
I hope so. I hope so, but it's just we can only hope, right?
But no, there is nothing to hope. I mean, that is what Book Better Direct is exactly doing. We pushing ourselves in between in front of online travel agents, because as I said, this is the biggest opportunity to switch the technology. It's like, think about it. It was like in the early days where Netflix came up. Yeah, before you would pay 15 euros for a ticket to going to the cinema, and now you pay 15 euros a month for, I don't know, 100,000 of movies. And this is where direct bookings are moving towards as well. It cannot be that hotels still pay 15 to 30% of their turnover to online travel agents in this day and age.
Yeah, no, I believe it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. I think that we can have this conversation for a very, very long time.
Yes.
You use the Netflix example now, and the first thing that it came to my mind is, yeah, but Netflix is a platform just like Booking.com. So basically, they are gathering lots of movies for a flat fee to offer to the customers, right? And then we go back to the same type of mindset. Are we all getting so used to platforms that we only want to book through platforms? And what is the responsibility of the platform to keep the industry alive as well? Like, is the goal of the platform for the markets and the shareholders and the stock markets and return higher and higher and higher on the investment, or it is to keep what keeps them alive, that is the industry itself? So I think that there are lots of questions and a lot of conversations to be happen. And I hope that you are right in your vision, and we can at least get more of the profits back to the hoteliers' pockets so they can reinvest in their service, reinvest in their people, and reinvest in their own product to deliver best.
And just to interrupt, and that is exactly what Book Better Direct is building. We are building basically a platform which directly connects with the hotel. Yes, we are a platform, but we don't do it with a commission base. We do it with a flat rate, very affordable flat rate fee. Think 15, 20, 30 euros a month for the basic services, and that's it. And all the profit, all the bookings are going to the hotel.
That's good, Sabine. That's good to see someone doing the fair game. Sabine, how can our audience get in touch with you and learn more about Better Book Direct?
Well, just Google Book Better Direct. We will immediately pop up on Google, and otherwise I am on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us everywhere. Just put in Book Better Direct and you will find us.
Book Better Direct. Sorry, I mixed up a little bit. Book Better Direct. So sorry. Sabine, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I really appreciate it, and very most the best luck and success with Better Direct. And I hope to see you very soon.
Thank you very much, Mauricio, for this opportunity. And yeah, all the best to you as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheila, and thanks for listening for another episode. And I talk to you next week. Bye.